Hello my beautiful friends. Today I am so excited to be bringing you the third edition of my Ultimate Fall Cozy Mystery Guide. I have done two of these in the past and I've tried not to repeat too many, so there are lots of fresh recommendations, but I will link the previous 2 years above if you want even more recommendations. But we're gonna just dive in because I have over 30. So our first one is one that I read at the beginning of this year and I loved it. It is the second book in the Hometown Hardware Mystery series. It is a very fall themed book and it's called Ask Me No Questions. Our main character in this is Donna Carpenter and she runs this hardware shop, which I think is a really fun theme. There is a timber festival. This takes place in a small town in Oregon. It is super autumn heavy with just like food references, the festival. Someone ends up being murdered at the festival. That kind of kicks off the mystery. I loved this because I thought Donna and her adult daughter were just such a great combination. I loved their relationship. I thought Donna was a wonderful character. I loved the really unique theme of the hardware shop. And like I said, this one takes place during autumn and you have this gorgeous timber festival going on. So a fantastic pick for fall. This is one that definitely made last year's list, but it's so good I'm going to mention it again. And that is Diane Kelly's Mountain Lodge Mystery Series. There's only 3 books in this series. Be warned, it will break your heart 'cause it's so good. These are the 3 books right here. And as you can see, book 2 in particular, A Trip for Trouble, takes place in the autumn. The first book is Get Away with Murder. I'm not sure exactly what time of year this one takes place in, but if you start this series now, this is a great one for fall, and then book 3 actually takes place in the winter. So it's a really great one to kick off in the fall and then just continue reading as the seasons change. Our main character in this is Misty Murphy. She's about 50 years old and she is a divorcee. In the first book she has an amicable divorce with her husband and she uses the money they split during the divorce to buy this mountain resort lodge, and she starts to run it as this bed and breakfast, and it is gorgeous. The setting for this, phenomenal. Diane Kelly's mysteries, so good, so incredibly good. They really get me every time. I love Misty as a character, and specifically A Trip with Trouble takes place where this woman's motorcycle group is booking the mountain lodge with Misty, and they go on an annual autumn ride. So there's lots of foliage. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. Also, if you're a cat lover, there is Yeti the cat, and there are short chapters written from Yeti's perspective here and there, which just adds so much coziness, and I love it. So this is a fantastic fall into winter series that I strongly recommend. Now, if you are looking for spookier vibes, if you're looking for Halloween, may I recommend the Halloween Bookshop Mystery Series by Emmeline Duncan. There are currently 2 books out in this series. I love these. I really, really love these, and it takes place in a Halloween-themed town. It's about as Halloween as it's gonna get. So our main character in this is Bailey Briggs, and she runs a bookshop which specializes in a lot of mysteries. She also does a book box kind of thing with the bookshop, which I really loved reading about. But this one takes place around different Halloween events. In this first one, there's kind of like a festival going on. The second one, there is a Halloween themed wedding that Bailey is participating in. So each one does take place around or leading up to Halloween, and has the most Halloween-y vibes ever because of the Halloween-themed town. Her dog is named Jack Skellington, which I love so much. So you have some dog vibes, you have bookish vibes, you have strong Halloween vibes. This is a really lovely series. I've so enjoyed it, and I'm here for the gorgeous setting. I think the setting for this one is where it really shines in particular. Wine and Punishment by Sarah Fox. This is the first in her literary pub mystery series, and it does take place with an autumn festival going on. Our main character in this is Sadie. She moves to a small town in Vermont and she's opening a literary themed pub when her ex-boyfriend is found near her business, which puts her on the main suspect list. There is an autumn festival going on at the same time. I listened to this on audio earlier this year, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to continuing the series. So if you're looking for one that takes place in the fall specifically, there's an autumn festival, this is a really great one. Spells and Subterfuge by Beth Dolkner. Now, I do not know for sure when this takes place. I didn't really feel strong seasonal vibes, but this one brings supernatural Golden Girl vibes. So if you're looking for something a little witchy and magical for this spooky season, this is a fantastic one. Our main character is Hazel Underwood, and she has inherited her uncle's funeral home, which she decides to refurbish and live in, and she needs roommates to help financially support these renovations. So she puts an ad in the paper and she's moved back to the small town, which is actually filled with all magical residents, and Hazel herself is a witch. You get to learn about her powers. She has 3 other roommates that join her. They are all delightful characters. I absolutely love this for the characters above all else. The magic is interesting, the mystery was creepy and fun, and this just had the coziest magical Golden Girls vibe. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy, I really liked this. I'm so looking forward to seeing where Hazel's story and some of the subplots with her continue in the future. I think the funeral home is such a unique aspect of this, and you do just have random kind of supernatural creatures like Bigfoot or vampires or ghosts. So if you enjoy that sort of spooky supernatural vibe in a fall read, this is a really great one. Alright, this next one, I know many people love the Grilled Cheese Mystery series by Linda Riley, and I do like that series, but this one is actually my favorite, and the first book has very autumnal themes to it, and that is her Cat Lady mystery series. The first book is called Escape Clause, and as you can see with the cover here, gorgeous pumpkin vibes on this. It does take place leading up to Halloween, so there's some mention of like jack-o'-lantern carving, and this one involves our main character moving back to a small town in New Hampshire to help her Aunt Fran out, who can no longer, she's just needing help. She's got a lot of cats and she's not doing so well health-wise, so she needs some help around the house. And I just really fell in love with Laura and her relationship with her Aunt Fran. I love the direction this book took at the end as to what Laura's future is going to be. If you like cats, obviously this is a fantastic one. There are so many cats in this, and basically a local bully is murdered and Laura gets involved in the case. This one definitely had some really fun autumn and Halloween vibes, and obviously some very heavy cat vibes if you enjoy that sort of thing. A historical fiction read that I adored that took place in October is Murder at the Wham Bam Club by Carolyn Murray Wilkins. This is the first in the Psychics and Soul Food mystery. It takes place in the 1920s. Our main character in this is Nola. I think she's about 21 years old. She is a widow. Her husband was actually in the Harlem Hellfighters and he passed away during his time in that. And she's returned to a small town in Illinois and basically gets enroped into this mystery where an old headmistress asks her for help because one of her students, a young teen girl, has gone missing, and it has something to do with this Wham Bam Club, which is basically an illegal club for like music, but they also serve alcohol because this is during the Prohibition era. And she goes undercover to try to find this girl and gets enraptured in a whole bunch of stuff. There is like a slight supernatural element to this because her and I believe it's her aunt are psychics. So there is a little bit of that kind of psychic ability, which I think is fun, but this one did take place in the fall. It had some good fall vibes to it, and it's just a historical mystery that I really, really loved. I'm hoping more will come out in this series. This is book 1, so you can hop right into it. Now this one is farther into the series, but if you're looking for the ultimate Halloween vibes, Boston Scream Murder by Ginger Bolton. You guys know I love the Deputy Donut mystery series. I think this is book 6 or so. No, this is book 4, so if you want to binge a series, this is one you could definitely jump into. But our main character is Emily, and with her father-in-law, she's actually lost her husband. He was working as a police officer and he died in the line of duty, but her and her father-in-law have a great relationship, and they run Deputy Donut, which is a donut shop and cafe, and October 31st is quickly approaching, and they are hired to do these like specialty Halloween donuts, which is amazing. And they're hired for this birthday party. It's a 70th birthday party for this local eccentric, but when they arrive to drop off the donuts, they find him dead, and that kicks off the mystery. So if you like a foodie cozy one with very fun Halloween vibes, and if you like cats, Depp is one of my favorite cat characters in a cozy mystery. I also just love the characters in this. They are really lovely. There's some great development with them throughout the books. This is just a series that has a lot of heart. I really, really enjoy it personally, and I'm looking forward to continuing it, but specifically this is a fantastic one for fall or Halloween. Berried Secrets by Peg Cochran. Oh, I recently read this with my patrons for our book club, and this is one of my favorite book club picks we've had so far. Our main character in this is Monica, and she has returned to her family's cranberry farm where her brother is kind of struggling financially to get the cranberry farm profitable. This one does take place in the fall, and she returns to help her brother Jeff, who's really struggling, like I said, to make a profit with the cranberry farm. And unfortunately, as she's helping with the cranberry harvest, which is a fascinating progress with all these cranberry bogs, I had no idea cranberries grew in bogs. I found it so immensely fascinating. They find Sam's body in one of the bogs, and he is somebody who is very deeply unlikable, held secrets over a lot of people. Jeff has a reason to dislike him, and this is a very high stakes murder. The mystery for this, oh, I barely pieced together like the who behind everyone, but it was so intense and satisfying. I cannot wait to continue this series, but this one is a fall cozy if you're looking for something with those seasonal vibes and just an interesting topic. The cranberries were fascinating. They also have a shop at the farm where they sell cranberry like baked goods and things like that, so it was just a lovely read. I really enjoyed Monica as a character. Can't wait to continue this. Murder at the Bayou Boneyard by Ellen Byron. So this one is a couple of books into the series. Fair warning, you can jump around with this series. You're gonna ruin maybe the romantic subplot a little bit for yourself, but if you want to jump in, feel free to. This one, oh, the cover, the vibes, everything about this, I love this series. So our main character in this is Maggie Crozat, and her family owns this kind of like plantation home which they have renovated into a bed and breakfast. So there's always these interesting events going on, an interesting cast of new guests who are staying there. So this one is just so fascinating. I love it. I love Maggie's grandmother especially, but her parents are really awesome. And basically a murder occurs at this Halloween event in a local cemetery, which gets Maggie involved. Love it. Plus there's a basset hound in this series, as you can see on the cover, so extra points for adorable dog. But I love this. If you enjoy a B&B, this one takes place in like, you know, Cajun country, so if you like a southern cozy, if you like a family-centric cozy, this one has the best Halloween vibes, and it's a fantastic cozy series. I only have one left in it, and I'm really bummed out. This next one has such a fascinating theme. It's called Seal to Play Kill by Lucy Lawrence, aka Jen McKinley. This is the third in the Decoupage mystery series, and our main character Brenna is taking some tourists on a leaf peeping tour when they come across a body. So you have the beautiful autumnal leaves, and she runs this decoupage like shop and classes with her friend, and it's really interesting. I liked learning about decoupage as I listened to the series. It was just very fun and interesting. I liked the crafty element, and this one had some amazing autumn vibes with all the leaf peeping and the changing season throughout this one, so I wanted to include this. I listened to this on audio and the narrator was really great. Be My Ghost by Carol J. Perry. If you're looking for something that's like lightly supernatural, it's got some whimsy to it, but it's not like the supernatural solves the mystery, this is a great one. And it takes place in Florida, which is kind of a fun, different setting for a fall cozy, in my opinion. Our main character in this is Maureen, and she has this mysterious inheritance from someone she doesn't know, which you kind of get to explore throughout the books. And it's a B&B in Florida, so she moves down there with her golden retriever Finn, who is a big part of the plot, which I love. And shortly after, a very classic cozy mystery setup, this is book one, a guest is found dead on her property and she needs to clear her name. And what she finds out when she's there is that the hotel she's inherited, along with parts of the town, have ghosts, so she can sometimes talk to them, which is really fun. It's just very whimsical, and this one does take place leading up to Halloween, so a really good pick for that. A series that I've recently started by Gigi Pandian, actually I have two from her. These don't necessarily take place during fall, but I just feel like they have fall kind of academic vibes to them, so that's why they've made this list. The first one is the Accidental Alchemist series. This is book two I just checked out from my library. It's called The Masquerading Magician. I recently read book one on audio and just loved it. Our main character is Zoe Faust, and she's an alchemist. So it's this very interesting magic meets science kind of thing. It doesn't feel over the top, but it's just enough to add this whimsy, and she's trying to decode this alchemy book that she receives in the first one. There is a gargoyle sidekick named Dorian, and he is a hoot. I love him so much, and it's fantastic. In the first book, she moves into her new home. This takes place in Portland, Oregon, and I think a contractor that she is hired to work on her home is found dead in her home. She's a suspect, other people in her life are a suspect, and she works to clear the name. The mystery was great, and I just think the alchemy element is a really fun theme for fall. The other one I recommend by this author for fall is the Jaya Jones mystery series. I read the first one in this, and this one is called Artifact. This was so fun. If you like National Treasure or like Indiana Jones, this is a great one. I mean, literally the main character's last name is Jones, and she is this like historian. She specializes in some really interesting topics, but she receives a package in the mail from her ex-boyfriend with this mysterious artifact and no context. The problem is she can't ask the ex-boyfriend about this because he is dead. He recently died, and there is some suspicions around that. So she goes on this international adventure, and it is fascinating. I absolutely loved this. It was so unique and interesting. If you're looking for those kind of national treasure, except this is international, but if you're looking for like international treasure vibes with an amazing kick-butt main character, I adored this one. This one is not supernatural. It's just a really fun, more like historical centered mystery, which I absolutely loved, and I can't wait to continue. Mulberry Mischief by Sharon Farrow. This is several books into the Berry Basket mystery series, which you guys know I have been adoring. I haven't got to this book specifically, but I've read several in the series and it's amazing. Our main character in this is Marley Jacobs, and she runs this berry emporium where they sell, you know, jams, blueberry pancake mix, like all these different things, anything to do with berries. And this does take place in a small town in Michigan, so there are all these berry-centered festivals, including the Harvest Health Fair, which this one is focused around. And Marley is stocking up on all these elderberry products to get ready for fall and like cold season, and she has a woman who keeps popping in, getting more and more, and she seems increasingly paranoid about her safety, and she ends up disappearing, while this other person that was asking about this disappeared woman is found murdered. So now Marley is on the case. I think Marley is a great character. I think she's fun, she's spunky. Fair warning, if you jump into this, you are going to have some spoilers for the romantic subplot, but if you don't care about that, I feel like you could just jump into this. I have been reading through the series and adoring it. And this cover, I mean, come on. It's darling. I'm so excited. Hot Pot Murder by Jennifer J. Chow. This is the second in the LA Night Market mystery series. And this one, although the cover doesn't scream fall, actually takes place around Thanksgiving. So this is more of a Thanksgiving cozy, which I think is a fun twist because a lot of cozies just kind of center around fall or Halloween, and I feel like Thanksgiving gets overlooked. This one involves Yale and Celine. They are cousins, one who is over from Hong Kong, Celine, she is an influencer, and then Yale, who is a little bit more bookish, but they run this LA night market booth together selling like boba tea and different things, like snacks and things, which is really fun. And with this one, they are invited to this exclusive dinner with some of the local restaurateurs in the area, and it's kind of like a Thanksgiving hot pot meal, which was really fun to read about. And unfortunately, someone is murdered at this event. They get involved. I love Yale and Celine's dynamic. I really think they are such a fantastic dynamic duo. The food scenes are delicious, and the mystery for this was really solid. I am hoping this will continue. I haven't heard anything about it continuing, but this is book 2 in the series, so pretty easy to jump into if you want to. Speaking of Thanksgiving, we have The Diva Runs Out of Thyme by Krista Davis. This is the first in the Domestic Diva series. Our main character in this is Sophie Winston, and she is a domestic diva. Basically, she is this phenomenal, like, she's a great home cook. She can decorate. She can just anything to do with the home. She sometimes writes about it or does like work involving it. And she's got this rival, Natasha, who has stolen a lot of the spotlight over the time, and also Sophie's ex-husband, which probably a little bit of a bitter point. Unfortunately, Sophie stumbles across a corpse while she's trying to figure out her perfect turkey recipe for Thanksgiving, and that kind of puts a damper on things. So this is another really great kind of Thanksgiving cozy. I love the little tips at the beginning of each chapter from Natasha and Sophie about how to like be a great homemaker or serve great food. I think it's a really fun theme, and I just love Sophie and her family. There are some hysterical characters in this that I still remember, even though I read this almost a year ago. I love this. The Odessa Jones mystery series by Valerie Wilson Wesley. This one has some fun supernatural psychic vibes to it. Our main character works at a real estate office, and she also is building a catering business on the side. Odessa Jones is a psychic, but she's kind of a reluctant psychic. She doesn't fully know how to use her abilities. And in the first one, someone is murdered who's associated with the real estate office, kicks off the mystery series. This is one, I don't remember specifically what time of year the first one takes place, but it just gives me kind of darker fall vibes. You got the supernatural element with the psychic abilities. There's nothing else supernatural about the series, just the psychic ability, which I think is just enough to add some of that kind of magic and whimsy into the book without making it all about the magic. So I think Odessa is a fascinating character. She's extremely empathetic. I really love her approach to sleuthing, and the mysteries for this series have been top notch. Death of a Neighborhood Witch by Laura Levine. Now this is a series you can truly jump into any. I feel like there's really no character growth throughout the series. This is the Jane Austen mystery series, and Jane Austen is a freelance writer in the big city. She is kind of always struggling to find work you know, as a freelancer myself, I can relate to the constant looking for work, and she is a hoot. Laura Levine is actually a comedy writer, and that comes through. This is like part comedy, part cozy mystery, and Jane in this one ends up getting involved with this mystery where a neighborhood witch, a lady who's not very nice in the neighborhood, ends up being murdered. She gets involved in it. This is extremely self-deprecating. I don't think the humor will be for everyone, but I think it is hysterical if you're looking for something very lighthearted and funny. Needless to say, if you are looking for something that is laugh out loud funny, you can't go wrong with Laura Levine's Jane Austen series. She has a cat named Prozac, okay? The jokes that come up with that cat alone, hysterical, and Death of a Neighborhood Witch brings all the Halloween vibes. It's hilarious, and this is one you can really jump around in with no issue. Next, I recommend Calypso, Corpses, and Cooking by Raquel V. Reyes. This is book 2 in the Caribbean Kitchen Mystery series. It features Miriam, who is a mother to a young boy, I think he's like 4 or so, and she and her husband have moved to Florida in the first book. She does this like cooking segment with Caribbean food on a TV network, which is really awesome, and in this one, she's decorating her yard and a body is actually found in the yard. I still remember like some of the details of this mystery so specifically because of how unique it was. And then her mother-in-law, who she has a very difficult relationship with, her mother-in-law drives me crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but her mother-in-law asks her to kind of like cater and help out with this big event. And she and her friends decide to spice things up and do some Caribbean food and food trucks and calypso music, which sounds so delightful, when the chef at the, I think it's like a resort or something, ends up taking a swan dive to their doom. So now she's got 2 bodies. Are they related? What is going on? And this one was just really fun. There's a fall festival at the school. It's just a really unique, fun, cozy series. I love the Caribbean food references. Can't wait to continue this series. By Ellie Alexander, I recommend the Sloane Across Mystery series. Now this is Beyond a Reasonable Stout. I think this is book 3 or so. This is book 3, but for fall I specifically recommend book 2, which I'll put on screen, and that's called The Pint of No Return. This one takes place during Oktoberfest, which is a late September, early October event, and our main character in this is, I love her. I think she's such a cool character. So Sloane in the first book finds her husband cheating on her. She ends up leaving him. She's getting a divorce in the second book, and she starts to work at this microbrewery in town with a man named Garrett, and they create all of these interesting microbrews. I'm not very knowledgeable on the topic, but it's a very interesting process. And in this one, they're having Oktoberfest. And what's really interesting about this one is it takes place in Leavenworth, Washington. The theme for everything in the village is actually German inspired. So it's a very unique setting. And book 2 does take place specifically in the fall time with a very kind of fall fun event. So I really enjoyed that one. There's a man who's doing a TV show who's really bothering her in that one. And of course he ends up murdered. He's no longer going to be bothering Sloane, but she tries to solve his case. So I really recommend this series. I'm looking forward to continuing it, and book 2 is a great one for fall. Gone for Gouda by Karina Moss. I know I recommended this one last year, but it's my favorite from this mystery series, so I gotta recommend it again. This is the second in the Cheese Shop mystery series. Our main character is Willa. In Sonoma Valley in Yarrow Glen, Willa runs Curds and Whey, which is a French-inspired cheese shop. She's a cheesemonger. It is fascinating. I love cheese, so this is right up my alley. But book 2 specifically takes place during the fall season, and she's about to host the celebrity vegan chef and like influencer when they don't show up, which is really upsetting because she sold tickets and things to this event. And her team is building a float for this fall festival, and there's just a whole lot going on. And some pictures show up about this influencer chef that kind of dispute her vegan claims, which doesn't look very good for her. Willa gets involved in trying to uncover the mystery. Of course, there's a murder, but I just adore this one. It had amazing autumn vibes, and in general, this is one of my favorite foodie cozies, so a fantastic pick. Earl Grave Tea by Gretchen Rue. This is part of the Witch's Brew mystery series. I haven't read this specific one, but I have read the first 2 in the series and really enjoy it. This one involves our main character, Phoebe Winchester. She is a witch. She's coming into her powers quite late, and her aunt leaves her shop, which is a bookstore and like tea apothecary. So there's a lot of fun tea scenes, which I adore. She has a cat named Bob who is on the cover, and he is a hoot. I love him so much. And this town gets really into the holidays, so there's tons of Halloween decor. Phoebe is shocked when this Hollywood star Naomi comes into town. The whole town is starstruck, but she's not struck by Naomi herself, but by the man who's with her, which is her ex-fiance, and this creates a whole lot of drama. The cover for this is so cute. I cannot wait to get to this one. It's one of my fall TBR picks, but I have really enjoyed this series. It has a moderate amount of supernatural stuff in it, but it still feels very fun and like a good like amateur sleuth situation where she's still having to really think through and figure out things, which I personally like, but it still has some good spooky vibes with the witchy element, and I love Bob and her crew at the tea shop. Absolutely fantastic series. Next one takes place in Hudson Valley. Our main character is Kate. This is called Last Licks. It's part of the Lickety Splits mystery series, which is like an ice cream milkshake shop, and autumn is here, Halloween is here, and she's actually shocked when this film crew approaches her because they want to film a scene for their movie at Lickety Splits. So Kate is going to take them up on this. She's been in financial straits, and this will really help give them an influx of cash. But of course, someone dies on set. And unfortunately, they die after having some of Kate's homemade ice cream, which doesn't look good for Kate, so she's determined to clear her name. One of the standout parts of the series, besides the delicious food and the great mysteries, is that Kate lives with, I think, her niece and her grandmother, so you have this 3 generations of women together, and I love it. I love it so much. Her niece helps out at the shop, but I love the dynamics between these 3 women. I think it is such a fun, cozy, family-centric, wonderful mystery series, and I think I have one left in the series, and I'm putting off reading it because I love it so much. If you're looking for one that you can jump right into if you want to read them in order, I recommend Death Overdue by Alison Brooke. This features Carrie Singleton, who is a librarian. This has a slight supernatural element. There's like a ghost that haunts the library, but that's the only supernatural element, so it's not super involved in that way. But Carrie has a very interesting past that I don't want to spoil, that I really appreciate throughout the series. And in this one, they're hosting some kind of bookish event, and this retired detective claims at the event that he has solved this 15-year-old cold case, which of course piques everyone's interest. But before he can reveal the details of what he solved, he dies right then and there, and Carrie gets involved in this. There is a really cute cat in this. I like the ghost that haunts the library. It's a fun little element. Very fun, bookish, and Halloween for this season. Speaking of seasonal reads, I couldn't help but recommend the Tea Shop Mystery Series by Laura Childs. There are so many fun themed mysteries in this, and if you don't care about the romantic subplot, you can totally jump in wherever. But our main character is Theodosa, or Theo. She runs Indigo Tea Shop with Drayton and Haley, who I love as characters, especially Drayton. He is hilarious. But Theodosa has her dog, Earl Grey. I love it when authors come up with these fun names. This one in particular is good for fall. This one takes place with a ghost crawl. I also just finished Oolong Dead, which was on my fall TBR, I'll link it above, and Oolong Dead was an autumnal one that had like an opera, charity drive, and a masked ball. So if you're looking for 2 recommendations from the series, the Jasmine Moon Murder and Oolong Dead are fantastic fall picks. Love the tea, cozy vibes. There's always these fun events that they are hosting and catering, which I love to read about. And Theo is just a really great, practical, dedicated sleuth. If you're someone who enjoys a lot of culture, art, history, this one takes place in Charleston, and all the events tend to center around like charities, art shows, different things like that. Like I said, the Oolong Dead had an opera event they were doing, which I loved. So I really like that aspect of it. It's a really fun, cozy, and there's like 30 in the series if you're looking for a very extensive cozy mystery series to start. The Busybody Book Club by Freya Sampson. I read this recently and it was delightful. It did take place during the fall, and this one involves several characters. You get to read multiple points of views, and I loved this. I really enjoyed this. We have our main character, Nola, and she is about to get married. She's got a lot of anxiety and fears. She works at this community center where they host a book club, which they call the Busybody Book Club. and there's just a really kooky, interesting cast of characters who wouldn't normally find each other. It very much has found family vibes, which I adore, but one of the members of their book club is accused of theft because some of the money for the community center goes missing during the book club, and this person can't be found afterwards. So the other members get involved. I loved Phyllis in particular. She was my favorite character. She's a bit on the older side. She has a bulldog who I adored, and her character arc in this book, so satisfying. She also compares herself and like thinks like, what would Agatha Christie do? What would Miss Marple do? That's like how she approaches her investigating, and I love that. Freya Sampson is one of my favorite authors for like found family type books, and this one had a great mystery, some amazing character arcs, and just really cozy vibes, which I couldn't recommend more. Double Mocha Blues by Tiora Moody. This is the first in the Joss Miller series, and it does take place starting in September leading into October. This is a really fun, unique premise. Joss is in her late 20s, I believe. She is a true crime podcaster and barista, so you have both the coffee cozy element but the true crime podcast, and you actually get to read some of the interviews from her. So this actually has like mixed media, which I think is pretty unusual for a cozy. I find it a lot more in thrillers or other mysteries, but I really liked how Tiora Moody did that. Joss is a really interesting character. She's very passionate, she's very loyal, she's determined to get to the bottom of things. This is a little bit darker of a cozy series because it does discuss true crime. But with that said, it still keeps those cozy vibes. It's not super graphic, and I just really loved Joss. She's actually a character in the Eugenia Patterson mystery series, which I've actually been listening to since finding this series. So book 4 is coming out this year. Cannot wait. But this one is the first book in the series, and it does take place in September into October. So this is a great one, and she's actually working to solve a cold case involving a family member in book 1, which is especially impactful. Fatal Fudge Swirl by Meri Allen. This is a repeat recommendation for me, but I mean, this cover absolutely could not leave this off. Our main character is Riley Rhodes. She's a former CIA librarian, and she's now a blogger, and she also works at her friend Caroline's ice cream shop. And in this one, there are Halloween events. There is a Halloween wedding. This takes place in Penniman, Connecticut. It is a cozy town. She and her ice cream staff are working to develop all these fun flavors, which I adore. I mean, there's just Halloween like oozes out of this book. So if you're looking for something dipped in Halloween, I mean, this is the book. So like I said, I mean, there is leaf peeping. There is a Halloween festival going on called the Halloween Happening. There is a Halloween wedding that the staff is working towards, and it is just, it's so fun. I loved it. I thought that the mystery, I really hope this series is continuing. I don't know if it is, but Fatal Fudge Swirl is an excellent read. The Coffeehouse mystery series by Cleo Coyle. There's something about tea and coffee cozies that give me fall and winter vibes especially. I did a recommendations video with them, I'll link it above. But the Coffeehouse mystery series specifically has 2 that take place in the fall early on in the series, books 2 and 3. I recently read book 2 and it blew my socks off. I mean, the mystery was amazing. It was such a dynamic, impactful mystery. It was really unique for a cozy. You actually got to read snippets from this killer's perspective, which really added more suspense. But this takes place at the Village Blend, which is a coffee shop. Our main character, Claire, manages the coffee shop. She's got an adult daughter named Joy who's in the area who I really like. I like their relationship. And in this one, there seems to be patrons who are missing or like going missing, and they're trying to figure out the connection there. And this is book 2 I'm talking about. And then book 3 I haven't got to yet, but it does state that it takes place in the fall. It's called A Latte Trouble. Very, very fun, and I think the coffee theme is a great one for this time of year. A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. If you like historical fiction, if you like Pride and Prejudice, this is a really fun one. Beatrice is our main character, and she is the eldest daughter in this family. They're struggling financially. She's expected to marry well, but she doesn't fit into the social etiquette of the time, and she's fascinated with true crime, which is definitely not appropriate for a young lady of her stature. But she and her sisters are going to this autumnal ball, which I love, and they're hoping to maybe, attract a handsome, wealthy bachelor. There is one that is notable who is going to be going, and while at the ball, this man is actually murdered, and Beatrice has to decide how she's going to approach this. Is she going to, you know, possibly disgrace her family by trying to solve this and going into her true crime love? What is going to happen? And this one really pokes fun at social etiquette. It's a very like on the nose funny book, and I really enjoyed it. It's a good pick for autumn, and the cover is so cute. Savvy Summers and the Sweet Potato Crime by Sandra Jackson Opaku. I recently read this. It just came out in July. It does take place in the fall specifically. There's even like a Thanksgiving scene, which is really sweet. And Savvy Summers is our main character. She is the owner and manager of Essie's Soul Food Cafe, so many delicious food scenes. And as is classic with many first books in a cozy mystery series, a patron of her restaurant ends up dying. The heat is on her and her staff, and she gets involved trying to solve the mystery. What I loved about this is it was very humorous. Savvy was a fantastic character, very bold, very fun. She's in her 50s or so, I want to say, and she just has a lot of spunk, and I love her. And then her, I think it's her assistant, Penny Lopez. They have a really interesting relationship because they are different generations, and I liked the dynamics there. But Savvy was a great character. The mystery kept me on my feet. I read this part ebook, part audiobook, and I really recommend the audiobook if you enjoy audio. It had a great narrator, and it did have some fun kind of Halloween, Thanksgiving scenes, even leading up to Christmas. So this is as this mystery took place over a couple of months. So I really enjoyed this one, and it was a fantastic fall read. The Which Way Librarian series by Angela M. Sanders. This is one for those of you who like bookish cozies, supernatural cozies. Our main character is a witch, and she can like talk to and hear books. It's a very interesting ability. Josie is our main character, and she moves to this small town in Winifred, Oregon, and there's this library house in a Victorian mansion. She has a familiar, the cat on the cover, as you can see, and she is just coming into her powers. She discovers she's actually a descendant of like a long line of witches, and it's just very fun. I really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to continuing this one this fall because it just has the perfect supernatural kind of cozy vibes for it. So that's one I wanted to throw in on this list. And then last but not least, I wanted to recommend Grave Words by Jerry Lewis. This is the second book in this, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the written word cozy mystery series. Our main character is Winter Snow, and she is an obituary writer. And in this one, it is book 2 in the series. She is writing an obituary for this man who was found in a burned down building, and she cannot find any details about this man. Like, he seems to not exist on paper, at least, and she gets involved in this, and it appears that he might have been murdered. There is a very cute little dog, as you can see on the cover, and this one does have some fun fall vibes with the pumpkins as well on the cover. Anyways, guys, I feel like I've been talking forever. If you made it to the end, thank you for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this list, and like I said, I did link my previous 2 videos for fall cozy mystery recommendations above. They have even more recommendations. What is your favorite fall cozy mystery or fall cozy mystery series, whether it's the vibes or the time of year it takes place? I would love to know. I'm always looking for good recommendations. And thank you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new videos every single week on my channel. If you're looking for even more videos and work from me, I do post on my Patreon as well, which is linked below. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye guys!